Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot, and today we're going to take a look at some new news, yeah, that's right, for Jurassic World Evolution 2. We're going to make this short and snappy. I am still in immense pain, but I've just taken lots of drugs, so hopefully things are going to be okay. Let's get started. So what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the potential for new DLC throughout 2023 for Jurassic World Evolution 2. And the reason we think this is this. So Frontier post these reports. These are financial reports, but they're kind of dolled up to look pretty and very graphical, and they send them out to investors and shareholders and interior people just to kind of show how the company is doing, how things are performing, and, you know, maybe attract potential investors and stuff like that as well. We're looking at one in particular today, though, the Interim Report and Accounts 2023. And this is why. So if we look in the very first page of the report, it says, our existing portfolio of games and PDLC, that's paid downloadable content, continues to perform well, supported by planned new DLC for Jurassic World Evolution 2. So let's just get that straight out the door. That's not the saying. Let's just get that clear right away. There is new DLC planned for Jurassic World Evolution 2. New paid DLC planned for Jurassic World Evolution 2. And that's going to be reiterated a few times if we go into this page here. This is one dedicated to Evolution 2 in particular. And this line in particular, additional PDLC is planned for release in financial year 23. So this is actually slightly different. This says FY23. That's financial year 23. And in terms of your business, that means until the end of April, basically. Or the end of June, I should say. So there's more DLC planned for Q1 and Q2 this year, for the first 6 months of 2023. So that's slightly different. And then we have another example here. This was found by Isaac Boy. I couldn't find this exact example myself, actually. This is found by Isaac Boy. And this one's actually the most important. And this says, PDLC is scheduled throughout CY, that's calendar year 2023. So not financial year, which ends in June, as I say, but calendar year, as in the entirety of 2023. Throughout does suggest the entire year. You know, if you say you're going to do something throughout the year, you wouldn't expect to stop in June, right? Now, this is not confirmation by any stretch of the imagination. We know there's more DLC on the way. We expected that, of course, but this is confirmation, 100% confirmation. There is more paid DLC content coming. DLC content, downloadable content. That's like ATM machine. There's more DLC coming to Evolution 2 this coming year. Well, this year. But this would suggest maybe it's going to last a little longer than it did for the first game. I wouldn't necessarily expect it to go into 2024, but you never know. And you know what? A good way to judge whether that's possible is to actually look at how the game is performing. And thankfully, Frontier posts that as well. We can see the financial performance of the game. So first of all, you can see that Evolution has kicked ass, basically. So this one over here is the first Evolution. Did really, really, really well. They released on Game Pass at some point, which has obviously helped a little bit. But, you know, still making good money, still bringing in money, still getting money on those sales and stuff like that in particular. And you can see how relatively it really has been outperforming Evolution 2. That's a fairly substantial gap there. There's a reason they don't put numbers in. However, that there is obviously the release of the Dominion DLC, which is really where Evolution 2 started to feel more like a complete game. And you can see that at that point, actually before that point, it was underperforming even Planet Zoo. And this is relative timescale, of course. So this is Planet Zoo 6 months into its life, and Planet Zoo was actually outperforming Evolution 2. Evolution 2, though, buoyed by that Dominion DLC, has shot back up. Start to level out again now, but then, you know, you're going to want to go like that with all the DLCs, basically. This makes me... I can read this in two different ways. First of all, Planet Zoo continues to perform exceptionally well. It really is kicking ass. It's genuinely a little surprising to me how well Planet Zoo is doing. This is Planet Coaster over here. I'm assuming that was the console release. But the thing that's, I guess, both positive and concerning is Evolution 2 is performing well. It's outperforming Planet Zoo, and Planet Zoo has had DLC into its third year, and it's going to have DLC for the next year or so, at least you would expect. It does mention elsewhere in the report that they're releasing another own brand simulation title in 2024, which I suspect is going to be Planet Coaster 2, but we'll have to wait and see. Well, that'll be very exciting. But the point is, Planet Zoo's doing really well and is still getting more DLC even now into its fourth year. Evolution 2 is outperforming Planet Zoo. So in theory, if it continued to do that, then surely it would make sense to keep making DLC for Evolution 2. Now, of course, you've got to consider relative how hard to make these DLCs are. You know, is Planet Zoo an easier DLC to make than Evolution 2? I would suggest probably yes. licensing issues and stuff like that. You know, there's probably a little bit more challenge in that regard as well with Evolution 2. But if it keeps performing well, if it keeps staying above Planet Zoo and Planet Zoo keeps getting supported, why would you not also keep supporting Evolution 2 in theory? The concern, of course, is Evolution 1 did not show that. Evolution 1 outperformed every single game and never even got close to crossing over. It dominated all the other games in their portfolio, and yet the DLC for Evolution 2 stopped like here. I think this is the Game Pass moment here. I think the DLC stopped probably there, actually, given the little jump we've got there. Or maybe there's that jump there. Evolution 1 did not get much DLC. It got like a year and a half of support. So, and it was spread out support. It wasn't regularly supported at all. We had that huge like 6-month drought at some point. So the fact that Evolution 1 was performing so well and yet still didn't get long DLC life is a little concerning, but I would suggest at that point they'd realise, you know, there's another film, we can cash in on that, we can work with Jurassic World Dominion, let's go do that instead, and let's end support for Evolution 1 now and focus on Evolution 2. So just because support for Evolution 1 ended early does not mean support for Evolution 2 is going to end early. That said, I don't expect a licensed game to get support for as long as Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster did, and I would imagine by the end of year 2, this is probably the last DLC we'll see for Evolution 2, and then it'll end up on, I think it's already on Game Pass, actually, I don't know. I think it's already on Game Pass, but but then they'll do like that ultimate bundle for like the year 2 Christmas sales or something like that. That would be my guess, but throughout 2023 does give me hope that for the entirety of this second year, this is where we are now, we'll see DLC for Evolution 2. And we're going to give a quick little nod to what that could possibly be. Of course, it's a really good year. This is like prime time to be releasing Jurassic Park and Jurassic World games. I'm blown away that there's not more of them on the horizon, although there are suggestions and maybe one more on the way. But of course, this year is the 30th anniversary for Jurassic Park. There's a huge push for toys and stuff. Not in England, of course. We don't see a bloody thing over here. I keep seeing all this stuff being posted and then I don't see any of it in the wild. It's really frustrating. But it is the 30th anniversary. That's really, really cool. Very exciting. Original Jurassic Park, bank hard on that nostalgic factor and do a DLC based on the 30th anniversary. I would be immensely surprised if Evolution 2 does not have a 30th anniversary DLC in the works. Now, what that would contain, I'm not so sure, because, of course, we have all the dinosaurs and buildings and stuff from the original Jurassic Park. So I might have a little think about that and come up with a prospective 30th anniversary DLC, but it'd be really cool to see something themed around this, and I think it would be a good way for Frontier to boost sales of the game, of course, because nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and a lot of us are Jurassic Park fans before Jurassic World fans. Not all of us, of course, I'm not making suggestions for all of you, but a lot of us are, so that would be a really cool thing to see. Okay, I've talked for much longer than anticipated. I will end it there and go take more pills, I think. I've got a tooth infection, and it is... I had a fever. I had like a literal fever dream like a couple hours ago. Like I lost like lucid dreaming taken to another level. It was the realms of reality were so blurred. It was unlike anything I experienced before. It was mad. Anyway, it's not really relevant. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What DLCs would you like to see this year? I did have an idea for another pack I'd like to talk about maybe later this week. We'll see how this goes. But, yeah, exciting stuff. Excited to see more support for the game, even as we branch out into other dinosaur and paleo media in general as well. Thank you for joining me. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.